Good morning, Adrienne. How are you?
I'm good, Amelia. How are you?
I'm very well. So, tell me a little bit about your business, about Independent Locksmiths.
Okay, Independent Locksmiths and Security, we've been in operation for over 45 years. An Australian-owned company based in Parramatta in the heart of Sydney. It was started up by Michael McGovern and Stephanie Griffin, just with a small retail store on George Street in the heart of Parramatta. And now we're a big commercial operation with 60 staff. We've got 20 technicians out on the road. And really one of, Sydney's largest commercial locksmith and security companies.
Mm-hmm.
So really we've developed from, your small locksmith traditional services into really being an industry leader where we're doing the security for and across the country, and Woolworths and universities and schools and hospitals. So really those large commercial operations, and quite a lot in our local community. So City of Parramatta Council and involved in Westmead Hospital and a lot of operations like that.
Fantastic. And you were one of our earliest clients as well a few years ago, signing up with Infusionsoft and SyncEzy. So how did you originally find out about us and about Infusionsoft?
So originally, back in 2014, we moved across to simPRO to manage our operation. So we went from real green screen and our service department writing out jobs with pen on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So we heard about simPRO software for managing our job booking system, and that was implemented in 2014, and I started shortly after that when we had heard about Infusionsoft, and I came on board to set that up. So what we thought with Infusionsoft was that we had this rich history of customers, being a 40-year-old company, that we didn't really have an efficient way to communicate with them. So we set up Infusionsoft to be able to market to them and cross-sell the different products that we had to that database, as well as I was developing websites, and we put web inquiry forms up, which was an Infusionsoft tool, and then set up campaigns in the background. So if we had a customer fill in an inquiry form for a school, they would get a particular immediate response, and then our service department could follow up with them with a quote through simPRO. That was our initial reason for getting Infusionsoft.
Yeah.
And it was simPRO who introduced us to Hari from SyncEzy. So we found we were running two systems where simPRO really infiltrated all areas of our business, from from our service department booking jobs to our warehouse, sending out products to our technicians out on the road, sending invoices immediately when they finished a job. Infusionsoft was really the marketing tool happening in the background, and we really didn't want the team here to be bogged down with two databases. We just wanted them operating out of simPRO. So we worked with Hari to get a plug-in happening so that we could start talking to our customers better, with it all integrated without having to have our team double handling data entry or anything like that.
And how did you find that transition from using the two systems on their own to implementing SyncEzy?
For example, one thing I used to do before Hari did an integration was send a follow-up to our customers once we had generated an invoice, just to follow up their job and do a little survey to see how we went. So what I used to have to do was a database download of everyone that we had invoiced out of simPRO, and then do an import into Infusionsoft, tag them all, customers just invoice, and send them out a survey. So it was quite a timely, a lengthy process to get that happening.
Sure.
And our sales team, we've got 6 sales staff here, as well as our service department quoting on jobs. And simPRO handles that quote system very well. But we didn't want the sales team to have to log into Infusionsoft to then follow up a quote. But we were testing the waters a little bit to see how the process could work for our sales team before we trained them in doing that. And we just found it too labour intensive, too much double handling for them to enter in a lead into Infusionsoft, tag them, and then have a quote follow-up campaign triggered. We just didn't want we didn't want it to become a hassle, because then we knew that they wouldn't end up using it.
Sure.
So with Hari, initially we just did a sync of just our customers. But that brought the database across into Infusionsoft for us. And we started to do marketing campaigns where we would send out an email, say, by industry. So we might send a particular email out to every school that was in our database to advise them of a product update that was relevant to the security of their schools. So that was working quite well. And also we were doing quarterly newsletters and, just advising. Had our emergency Locksmiths on call just before a long weekend, and that kind of, even, Christmas presents and Christmas cards. We were using it that way. But we knew that there was this whole ability to be able to develop more our quote follow-ups. And that was when we decided to, I think Hari had been working on developing a more extensive sync, so we decided to implement that at the end of last year, where our quotes were synced into Infusionsoft as well.
Okay. And so you then were doing quote follow-up using Infusionsoft, triggered by the quotes being sent?
Yeah, so once we did that full sync, I guess we were testing the waters with the initial customer sync. But once we synced the quotes that we were doing and our jobs, we were really starting to bring the two systems together, and then be able to use Infusionsoft to a much greater capacity, but also just to have the systems talking to each other has meant we've got a lot more ability in what we can do here now as well.
Sure. And can you quantify the results of implementing the full sync and starting to do your quote follow-up? Is there a difference in conversion rates as well as time saved?
We haven't actually done any statistics yet on that.
Okay. Do you have a feel for, are people accepting your quotes online and sort of moving through it being a little bit more automated?
Yeah, so when we launched, I did a lot of work with Hari on developing the quote follow-up campaign. And when we went live with that, I worked quite closely with the sales team to work out how often they wanted a follow-up email to go out to their customers. They're a little bit nervous of finding that fine line between being helpful and reminding a customer that we're here and can we help them and can we, are they going to go ahead with their quote? So just finding that fine line between staying front of mind and not being annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a little bit of, it was good to work closely with the sales team to try and get that right.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually divided it up. So we have our electronic security division. They have a different quote follow-up process to our locksmithing team. So when it's a big project that our electronics department are quoting on,
mm-hmm.
the campaign quote follow-up emails, there's a few more of them and there's more information and product tutorials in there.
Sure.
So a little bit of a different approach. So it's good to be able to tailor it to suit the different markets.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess, and also we've been able to integrate some SMS into that follow-up communication as well. So from a customer perspective, a quote might have accidentally gone into their trash box in their email, so they haven't noticed it, but with the SMS just quickly telling them, oh, we've sent you an email and it should be in your inbox. That's been really well received by our customers, so we're getting good feedback on that.
Great.
So I think it's resolved should be enough having better communication with our customers, and it's helped the sales team have that communication.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And a time-saving factor of manually doing things, has that been great?
Yeah, for me, from a marketing perspective, yes, I can market to our database without having to do, CSV exports and imports from different softwares. So I feel like I've only just got started, really. I think there's a lot more that I can do there. So I think the sync has opened up a world of opportunities, and now as a business we can start to develop different ways that we can communicate with our customers. So we've got the quote follow-up for new business campaign up and running. We've also implemented a survey, so that's going out in simPRO when we invoice a customer. But in the back end, the survey is in Infusionsoft, and those responses are coming into Infusionsoft, so it's pretty seamless.
Okay.
And just happening in the background without us having to do any work, which is great. And I think going forward, we'll be looking to develop our workflow management. And also some more product tutorials, so particularly for our electronics department, where they're setting up access control, and we can do tutorials for the customer on how to operate the system. Those can be sent out automatically once our technicians have finished installing a job.
Sure.
So just new efficient ways to be able to communicate with the customer, which is great.
Excellent. And so what would your advice be to other simPRO users that are perhaps considering or don't even know yet that it's even an option that they could be using a tool such as this?
I think Infusionsoft has great capabilities as a CRM software. It can be quite complex. And with Amelia, yourself, and Hari and SyncEzy, it's great to be able to have some help and assistance. So, and get some ideas and be able to navigate through some of these more complex campaigns that we're setting up. So I think it's definitely great to have that help, and the little group that we've put together of other marketing managers, where we get together once a month and talk about things that are working well for us, that again is another great way to be able to maximise what we're getting from the two softwares.
Yep.
And share ideas and implement, little things that are working well for other businesses.
Yeah.
So it's great. Being a small business, we don't have a huge marketing department. It's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's great to be able to bounce ideas off yourself and Hari and the other marketing managers and implement some of those ideas.
Yeah.